You've heard of the backless cocktail dress? How about the backless sailboat? When we think of improved technology, we tend to think it makes boats perform better, but it can also make them safer. Steve Killing is a yacht designer, and he's designed a sailboat where technology does make sailing safer. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Jay.
So I want to find out what the technology is, but I have to say I noticed, even I, a landlubber, noticed right away, there's no back on this boat. What's this all about?
Well, your reaction is a typical one. They look at this boat and they say something's missing. So the transom is normally the back end of the boat, and on a typical little dinghy, it's enclosed. We have a big opening here, and that was consciously done as a safety issue. Little boats, when you're out sailing, they're a lot of fun. Sometimes you tip them over. When you come back up on a traditional boat, you're full of water, and you're somewhat vulnerable. Usually that's in windy conditions. So in this boat, the intent is you come back up, the boat is empty. So water has just flushed out the back end, and off you sail. Okay, but when you haven't tipped over, is water not sloshing into the boat all the time? That's also the typical reaction. So the boat, when it's floating at rest, the water line is about an inch below the bottom of the hull here. And the significant thing to having water not coming in is this depth of hull. We have a very thick surface here. So this is always well above the water surface. It's sloped as you go forward, so if it rains, water drains out the back. It's always dry. It's actually drier than if you have a transom on it.
No kidding. Well, what else can you show me?
All right, well, let's move up to the side of the boat here. When you're sailing this boat upwind, that's trying to sail in the direction of the wind. And typically sailboats, you can't sail them straight upwind. They just don't go that way. So you have to sail at some kind of angle to the wind, about 45 degrees, turn, and then head up to where your destination is. And when you're sailing in that direction, this big sail is working as an airfoil.
Like a wing?
Just like a wing on an airplane. We have a slight advantage and disadvantage to airplanes. One is we can change the shape of our wing, and that's what we've done here. When you pull on this line, which is the main sheet, we actually are bending the mast a lot, and bending the mast pulls the fabric out of the sail, makes it a flatter foil, and reduces the total force. So if the breeze comes up, you can reduce the force the sail produces.
So it's the flexible mast that's the innovation here?
Flexible mast is the significant part, and having a controllable flexible. You don't just want a piece of spaghetti up there that goes any kind of shape. It bends, but then stops bending at some point.
Okay, continue. This is great.
So up here, again, we were discussing sailing upwind towards the direction of the wind. And when you do that, the sails have to move from one side of the boat to the other. And again, traditionally, you would have a rope on each side.
For this front sail?
For this front sail called the jib. But in this case, we actually have a little ball-bearing traveler that moves back and forth. And it moves back and forth on its own. So as the wind blows, it's just going to push the sail right across the other side of the boat. And this, as well as we think being a clever idea, it has only been made possible because of the new fittings that have now come out. These very small ball-bearing travelers, ball-bearing blocks, which are very low friction, and therefore let this all happen.
So in the past, you would control that yourself when you're sailing, but now it does it on its own.
So you can still control tension in this line, but actually the movement side to side, which is critical when you're sailing upwind, all happens automatically.
You know, I actually think I could sail this boat.
Well, that's the intent. A lot of people buy the boats had never sailed before. Ease of sail is the key here. When you're sailing downwind, we were talking about sailing upwind before, but downwind is the wind behind you, you're just pushing down. A lot of sailboats have a big colorful sail that goes up called a spinnaker. And we have one of those, but it's very intimidating for a lot of people to put it up because it's a big sail, it's sort of awkward to put up normally. So what we have done is we've packaged that sail all underneath the foredeck. It's always ready to go. And all you do is pull one line, it goes up, pull another. I'll get you to do this, Jay.
Okay, because the test of the technology is if I can do this, a guy who's been on a sailboat probably once in his life, anybody can.
So the one labeled hoist, you pull the hoist.
So that would be the one. Just pull it?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Up the spinnaker. I feel like Long John Silver.
Well done. So that sail is now hoisted, ready to go. So now I am the crew, you're the skipper here doing this job.
I should hope.
Yes. So now I furl up this other sail, get it out of the way, the jib. So now that sail, we're a little low on breeze here today.
And under wind, that would be billowing out in front of us, really racing us along.
Exactly. But now, usually, again, the intimidating part is getting that sail down, or if the breeze comes up, oh, what are we going to do? So that's the part that has been made easy. There's always a retrieving line ready to go down. So my crew job is to pull this sail back out, ready to go upwind.
And then my skipper job is to read that I've got to actually use the other side.
Right.
And down it comes.
So it's just nicely contained when you're down under the foredeck, under control.
Now, it's really true that people will sail this boat who have never sailed before?
Yeah, about half our customers have never sailed a boat before. And our goal is to make sailing easy for people, make it fun. So they just jump in the boat, learn just like you did today, and they're off sailing.
And use the technology to do that. Thanks a lot, Steve.
You're welcome.
Steve Killing is a yacht designer in Midland, Ontario.